Thank you guys so very, very much for allowing me to interrupt the best part of the night, which is the conversation. But we really do have some better stuff planned for you. Now, for those of you who've been paying attention to this guy rambling up here for the last 2 or 3 minutes, and those of you who didn't hit the bar that hard, and I'm looking for Mike Fitzpatrick here, I was a little worried about earlier. I am not Lilia Luciano. Congratulations, you all figured that out. No, my name is John Feeley, and I am here because A, I'm from New York, and B, I have a very loud voice. The reason that Lilia could not be with us is because life gets in the way of things. About 5 hours ago, she called up Rebecca and Lydia Divos, who have organized this marvelous evening, and she said that she couldn't make it because of a hurricane. But I thought to myself, all those years I told people my dog or the traffic, all the years that I lived in Mexico, el tráfico fue pésimo, perdóname, llegué tarde. Hurricanes are a pretty good excuse. Nobody questions it. Everybody just kind of goes, oh, wow, hurricane. And the truth is, we should take a moment because it's not a laughing matter for the people in North Carolina. So Lilia Luciano will hopefully be with us again next year. For tonight, you got me. My job tonight is to follow George Bernard Shaw's great injunction, which is when called upon to speak publicly, be charming, be brief, and be gone. And as I tried that line out of my wife in the Uber coming down, she said, hey, listen, pal, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. Don't stretch the first one. So I won't try to be charming, but I will try to be very succinct. Tonight is a very special night as we celebrate the Inter-American Dialogue's Leadership Awards. And when you think about it, what I said just earlier about life intervening, life intervenes with hurricanes. Life intervenes with vice presidential debates. Life intervenes, where's Mark Fierstein, with the Mets playing in their first playoff game. Hey, very good right there. Make sure he gets an extra dinner right there. Life intervenes, and yet the work of the dialogue goes on. And yet everybody took time out tonight to celebrate the Americas here, which is in fact the work of the Inter-American Dialogue. And tonight, October 1st, or today, was Jimmy Carter's 100th birthday. And that deserves a round of applause. When you stop and think of the values that Jimmy Carter represents, when you stop and think about human rights and supporting the rule of law as fundamental elements of American foreign policy. And when you stop and think about what the Inter-American Dialogue does on a daily basis, what you see is that there are people who truly inspire us. And tonight, at these leadership awards, we're going to be inspired. You are going to be inspired. I guarantee you it will be a night of inspiration. Jimmy Carter's inspired leadership in the service of democracy was followed by 2 of our guests here tonight. Women, 2 women leaders, the first female presidents of their countries. I want to thank President Bachelet, President Chinchilla for being with us here tonight. Thank you very much. We will also have a special video presentation tonight from another incredibly inspiring female leader in the Americas, Maria Corina Machado, and the man who won the presidential election in Venezuela, Edmundo González Urrutia. And then we have our special awardees tonight, 2 incredibly inspiring women, Andrea Grobo Copatel. I hope I got that right. I only had a couple of hours, so if I got it wrong, I do apologize. And Maria Rana. You're going to hear more about them. Yes, Maria Rana, marvelous author. So let yourselves be inspired tonight. Let yourselves be so inspired that you pick up your telephone and you find that QR code at your table and you donate a small amount, whatever you can, to the Inter-American Dialogue. And at this point, I do want to thank the Inter-American Dialogue's generous sponsors tonight. I want to thank everybody who made it out here. And then finally, I want to thank another very inspiring woman. The president and CEO of the Inter-American Dialogue, as you well know, is Rebecca Bill Chavez. Whether she has been in senior government positions or in academia or here leading the dialogue, Rebecca's daily work, her commitment to human rights, the rule of law, democracy in Latin America is an inspiration. She's a dear friend and an inspiring female leader in the Americas. Please welcome President and CEO of the Inter-American Dialogue, Rebecca Bill Chavez.
Thank you so much, John Feeley, for taking on this role. We are so lucky to have you, and I'm so lucky to be able to call you a friend. Good evening, everyone. Bienvenidos a todas y todos. Welcome to the Inter-American Dialogue's annual Gala. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to everyone in this room for your support and your guidance. With you, we transform ideas into action. We transform challenges into opportunities. To our board co-chairs, President Laura Chinchilla and Ambassador Tom Shannon, and our amazing board of directors, many of whom are with us here tonight. I want to thank a special thanks to President Bachelet for being here, and I'm very much looking forward to the dialogue with President Chinchilla. To tonight's honorees, Andrea Grobo-Copatel and Marie Arana, two remarkable women who are advancing inclusion, understanding, and empathy. And to the talented and dedicated ambassadors and diplomatic corps from across the Americas. To the many U.S. government officials who are with us tonight and who are dedicated to strengthening U.S. relations with Latin America and the Caribbean. Your presence reaffirms our collective commitment to the region. And to our generous sponsors, your support isn't just financial, it's a testament to your belief in the power of dialogue to shape a better future for our hemisphere. And finally, my deepest gratitude to the dialogue team for their expertise, their hard work, and their commitment to our mission. The Inter-American Dialogue is a hemispheric organization that builds networks of cooperation and action to build democratic resilience, shared prosperity, social inclusion, and sustainable development across the Americas. Together, we work to impact policy debates, to devise solutions, and to unlock meaningful change in the region. We gather this evening not just as colleagues and friends, but as a community united by our desire for democracy, for prosperity, for equity, and for cooperation. Together, we're facing both challenges and opportunities arising from the profound transformations underway in our hemisphere. Well into the third decade of the 21st century, the Americas are dealing with deep divisions and fast-paced social and economic change, driven by environmental and technological shifts. In many cases, things are moving so quickly that national and regional governments and institutions are struggling to keep up. And this gap between what governments are doing, including in the economic and in the public security realms, and what citizens expect, is undermining the credibility of liberal democracy. But it's not just the challenges, it's not all challenges. In fact, Latin America and the Caribbean and its people can and should be known more as the center and the source of massive opportunities. For example, the vast reserves of critical minerals in the Americas, including lithium and copper, position the region as a linchpin in the global transition to clean energy and advanced technologies. In addition, Latin America is a powerhouse in agricultural production and innovation that, among other things, give it a critical role in global food security. The region also has a tremendous opportunity to accelerate its digital economy and the emerging AI opportunity through strategic investments in technology, in education, and in infrastructure. The digital opportunity has the potential to drive greater innovation, competitiveness, on the global stage and also to improve the quality of life across the region. With both the challenges and the opportunities we're facing, it's more critical than ever that the hemisphere come together, and we see that so clearly in the case of Venezuela. Last year, we were honored to have President Bernardo Arévalo here in person to deliver our keynote address. He was here during a very precarious moment in Guatemala. It was the time between his election and the inauguration. And it was a moment when his opponents, including elements of the state apparatus, were doing everything possible to prevent him from assuming the presidency, subverting the will of the Guatemalan people. But with support from the hemispheric community, which was at the dialogue's Gala in full strength, and the commitment of the people of Guatemala, the democratic process stood strong and a peaceful transfer of power took place. The countries of the Americas and the OAS, where we gather again tonight, united with Guatemala's democratic community to press for a peaceful transfer of power, and they succeeded. Tonight, 2 invited guests cannot be here in person. One was forced to flee his home country of Venezuela. The second is in hiding in Venezuela, where she bravely faces threats to her freedom and to her life. I'm speaking, of course, of Maria Corina Machado and Edmundo Gonzalez. The promotion of democratic governance has been a core element of the dialogue's mission since our founding, and it is therefore fitting to begin the gala with remarks from Maria Corina Machado and Edmundo Gonzalez, who continue their fight for Venezuela's democracy after blatant electoral fraud and in the face of massive repression. There are clear differences, of course, between events in Guatemala and events in Venezuela, but there is something core in common. The people mobilized to vote for change. They surprised those in power, and they are willing to fight for their right to choose who governs, taking huge risks. But something they don't have in common is a united hemisphere pressing for a democratic transition. So for the sake of democratic values, human rights, and regional stability, it is crucial that the countries of the Americas, of the hemisphere, come together to defend democracy, rising above political divisions to stand in solidarity with those fighting for their democratic rights. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and we will go ahead and show the video.